Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon for February 25th, 2023. With your host, Beastmaker2448, and wrap it up, Salon.
Hi.
It's a lightish news week. It honestly depends on how much we talk about with the state of play, because there isn't that much else. We would have more to talk about, but Nintendo decided to wait a week. Thanks, Nintendo. I guess before we get into any of that, Tommy, what have you been playing the last couple weeks?
Not really a whole lot. And by that I mean outside of what we've streamed, not really anything.
Since I have a new phone, I have been playing some mobile games that I've been wanting to try. And or just play at a good performance, because the tablet I have won't do that. So I've properly tried Disney Mirrorverse, which is that Disney action game. Actually, I thought it was a turn-based RPG. No, it's kind of an action game with all the weird Disney designs, like the Dory tank. It doesn't play half bad, surprisingly. I kind of like it. I do wish I had a proper controller for it, because there is stick movement that you have to replicate with a touchscreen, and you dodge by flicking the virtual stick essentially, and that doesn't work sometimes. So I don't particularly care for that. But otherwise, it doesn't feel very egregious mobile game wise. Honestly, if you get it has one gacha pull, and it's just characters, and if you pull a duplicate character, it just gives you stuff for that character. So it doesn't feel like you're just getting garbage. I've essentially restarted my account on Super Robot Wars DD, which is the Super Robot Wars mobile game. Unfortunately, that means I no longer have Pac-Man. Which makes me sad. I do not have Mecha Pac-Man. But it's more or less a Super Robot Wars game as a mobile game, and the gachas are the super moves, and that's pretty much it. It's exactly how I left it. I kind of wanted to pick it back up and get it on my phone, because they did a Zenkaiger event a long time ago, back when Zenkaiger first started. So I'm kind of hoping that maybe they'll do another Sentai one, maybe they'll do a Rider one, maybe they'll do just another Toku one in general, because the previous Super Robot Wars game had like 12 dozen Toku crossover events. So we'll see. I'm mainly just here for the event stuff. And lastly, I tried Teppen, the Capcom card game. I don't know if you've heard of Teppen before.
Nope.
Okay, I have not played it enough to get a grasp on what the hell I'm doing, and or what the hell the gameplay is. Or not the gameplay, your progression is. So essentially, you have a deck of cards based off Capcom characters. So, the things you would expect: Street Fighter, Darkstalkers, Resident Evil, Dino Crisis, to pull some obscure stuff, but also Ace Attorney, because I was reminded of this game existing because somebody I follow posted the trailer for an event that starts in March, which is an Apollo Justice event. So I was like, maybe it's a good time to try Teppen. So you have a deck of cards based on that. But how you play the cards is you play them in one of 3 lanes, and all your like character cards have attack and defense stats, and they essentially have a time that they go to attack the opposing player. And if there's not another card stopping them, they do direct damage. But if there's a card stopping them, that card takes damage until they essentially run out of health. But then you also have other cards that are like support cards that like give attack and defense buffs to enemy or to your cards on the field, and other bonus effects that I have no idea what are. I have no idea how the fuck they work, because the tutorial, the basic of basics tutorial of the game does not really get into that. I think you have to go through all of the other tutorial stuff that's on the side to actually understand what the hell's going on in this game. So I'm gonna have to do that. Because more or less, this is a card game with an action phase, essentially. It's weird. But I kind of liked what I played for like a few minutes or so. Otherwise, it's not been a whole lot else. I chipped away at the high stuff for Fortnite so I could have all that. Yeah, it's not been a whole lot else. It's been kind of those weeks where I've not been sleeping well, so I've not been wanting to play games, fortunately.
Fair.
But anywho, anything else before we get into the news for the week?
No.
All right, then. State of Play! Sony did their first State of Play of the year. And it's certainly front-loaded with a lot of VR stuff. We're just going to move on past, because do you care about the VR stuff?
No.
I don't care about the VR stuff either, because I understand why they front-loaded the VR stuff, because the PlayStation VR 2 just came out this past couple weeks. So here's a bunch of stuff to get on the new VR headset that you just picked up. And apparently it's a good VR headset. Like, it's a nice, good-fitting headset if you've got glasses. It's got, it doesn't have external cameras or stuff. It's just motion. It's just a good headset. The tech is there. It's just, what do you play on it? It seems to be a Horizon game at the moment, and that seems to be about it. Destiny 2 had a trailer for its Lightfall expansion that comes out next week. I know it's on the list somewhere. Yes, the 28th. Mr. Smokestack friend here, that's the thumbnail of the trailer. That's our main villain of, like, the entire saga now. He's the guy in charge of the darkness, or using the darkness with his pyramid ships, because it's now the invasions of the shapes. This probably makes no sense to anyone who's not following Destiny, because it doesn't make sense to me. Let's see. I'll be honest, I zoned out during the middle of this, so I'm just like, here's Shika, an indie game. Indie adventure game from the looks of it, so yay. Humanity, I think we've talked about Humanity before. It's not the first time it's been showcased. Goodbye Volcano High, we've talked about before. A new Naruto game from CyberConnect that has all the Naruto in it. So you can experience all of Naruto in video game form. Hooray! Probably faster than watching the anime.
Probably.
And you will get just as much out of it, probably. Baldur's Gate 3 is coming to PlayStation 5. It looks like Baldur's Gate, which is like Diablo, so it's that. Yay. Neat. Honestly, the main stuff came at the end, which was Street Fighter 6 showed off the last of its main roster for release, which is Zangief, Cammy, and new fighter Lily, who has T-Hawk stuff. So she has Native American stuff. They looked cool. Street Fighter 6 looks good. RE4 Remake also had a showcase, more gameplay for it. Nothing too surprising. It's RE4 Remake. Just more confirmation of, yes, we are keeping true to the original, but also doing some slight alterations to do some new stuff. Like, Luis seemingly survives longer than he did in the original game. Because now he tag teams with you against two El Gigantes in the big volcano forge room. Also, the minecart level we're trying to meet at Donkey Kong Country. Because the two of you are riding in a minecart as other enemies are in all these other minecarts trying to kill you. And then kind of the big show ender. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League from Rocksteady got a big show off of its gameplay and stuff. I didn't really make the connection until I watched Maximilian Dude talk about it. It has big Crackdown vibes. You remember Crackdown, right?
Yep.
It's that. Except 4-player co-op. But unfortunately, it's a live service game because it has a battle pass and all that hoopla. Also, it requires an internet connection even for single player. A reminder, this game has been in development for like 5 years, which is why it has all this shit. Possibly more than that. So Rocksteady's probably been busy with this for a while. So yeah, that's the state of play. How do you feel about the state of play?
Meh.
Fair. Like the Suicide Squad game looks fine. I'm just like, what do you mean this takes place 5 years after Arkham Knight and is in the same universe as the Arkham games? And Batman's here, voiced by Kevin Conroy for the last time, who normally voices Batman. Did you forget how Arkham Knight ends? Because that gives me questions. Like, a lot of questions. Like, a lot of questions. But otherwise, it was certainly a state of play and certainly reminds me, right, this is why I don't really play my PlayStation 4 and 5, is because not a whole lot of this caught my interest. Well.
Yeah, that definitely has Crackdown vibe. I'm letting the trailer play and I'm seeing it.
It just feels weird that, like, normal ass person, Captain Boomerang, person with jetpack, Deadshot, normal ass person with a grappling hook, Harley Quinn, and King Shark are the ones getting the Crackdown gameplay. It feels weird. Also, I kind of don't like how it seems like 90% of the gameplay is shoot the giant big purple button. Like, that's not just me, right?
That's kind of why it's got Crackdown.
Right, but I'm also like...
Crackdown does kind of handle for a lot of the complex.
Honestly, it's been long enough since I've seen Crackdown. That probably is right. I just don't remember it that way. I just see them, the big jumps, float around forever, shoot enemies gameplay, and I'm like, that's Crackdown.
It looks like it's fun enough, though.
Yeah.
The big question is going to be, will it be in a live service game till it?
Yeah, that's the part I'm just like, ugh.
And if it is a fun enough game, will fans attempt to try to basically break it out of the live service part of it.
Yeah. Because, like, this would be fine. Like, I wouldn't mind playing this on stream, but, like, the live service part just makes me go, oh, no. Rocksteady, please. There is a reason your compatriots at Warner Brothers Montreal didn't put any live service stuff in their Gotham Knights game that clearly was meant to be a live service game. They ripped that shit out. Maybe you should too. Also, I was in someone else's stream and they mentioned that supposedly the heroes are going to be playable post-launch, which makes sense. Although it would be weird seeing some of these heroes wielding guns, assuming they don't have some distinct version of their gameplay. So we'll see.
True.
Anywho, next up, in a confirmation of a report we've had before, Nintendo has outright said they are not going to E3 this year. Well,
moving on.
more or less the quote here for those interested. We approach our involvement in any event on a case-by-case basis and are always considering various ways to engage with our fans. Since this year's E3 show didn't fit into our plans, we have made the decision to not participate. However, we have been and continue to be a big supporter of the ESA and E3. That's not going to last long because E3 is not going to last long. Because Ubisoft has also come out and said, we will go to E3 if it happens. Like, that is their wording on the matter. Not a implication that they would go if E3 happens. No, they outright stated they would only go to E3 if it happens.
So you know what that tells me.
E3 is probably not happening this year.
That, and definitely don't be hoping to see any more Mario and Rabbids if they do go to E3 here.
Yeah. Even though we're getting a part of the Mario and Rabbids season pass this coming week. Because I also saw that on the schedule.
That would probably be, correct thing, if anything.
Yep. Or, no, Sparks of Hope. Wasn't Sparks of Hope at a Ubisoft presentation first?
Both games were at a
Right.
Ubisoft first. But I'd venture to say anything else we get probably isn't happen.
Yeah.
Because Nintendo, while they trust them, I don't foresee them being able to let call all the shots.
So yeah, I'm sorry, folks. E3 is probably gone. But like, if you want an E3, there's plenty of other events that have that same E3 feel. As both a consumer and an industry personnel person.
Oh, like the game, never mind.
I mean that seriously because I'm like, the packs exist for those that just want to play demos of games before they come out and have that big convention experience. And then there is Gamescom for industry personnel.
Except what happens when starts walking.
Someone else will crop up in their wake.
I don't know. When you see one of the big ones fall, that starts making you question anyone. Not to mention, Nintendo figured out.
Right.
and now everyone else is copying. One of those, if it wasn't for directs, we probably wouldn't be having this happen right now.
Probably.
Which I know that sounds like, oh, it's Nintendo's. Yeah, actually. Hold on.
Nintendo killed E3 even though they support E3. Oops.
They inadvertently killed it. Because it definitely was not intentional.
Yeah. Also, weirdly, Nintendo not wanting to do something close to E3 makes sense considering when Tears of the Kingdom comes out.
I mean, true.
Because I think it's end of May that Tears of the Kingdom comes out. And then, like, E3, I think, is the following week, supposedly. It's the first week of June. So I feel like Nintendo will probably want to wait a month or so to then have a direct, if at all, supposedly, since theirs apparently don't have anything for the rest of the year, which they've said otherwise.
I mean, they have something for the rest of the year. It's called they can't talk about it because it's going to be delayed to next year.
There.
Now, I get the feeling... I get the feeling that if I'm right on they needed to make more money off the Prime Trilogy remakes, we'll probably see them started.
Yeah.
Meaning that we'll probably have a later push kind of deal. So I could see it being August, September before we get a direct.
I can't wait to get into June and people will be like, where's the direct at? And then get into July and people go, where's the direct at? And then get into August. People go, where's the direct at? And then 24 hours later, the direct happens. Because that's what happened last year. But speaking of Nintendo Directs, we have a Pokemon presentation next week.
Are they going to address the fact that they screwed up on Scarlet and Violet and they're going to put out a performance patch?
Well, they've got 20 minutes to do so. And by 20 minutes, they have 10 minutes to do so, because I'm willing to bet the first 10 minutes is going to be all the Pokemon mobile game bullshit.
So then we're probably not going to get it because the last 10 minutes will be whatever remake is this year.
So, from what I've seen, because of stuff that is in the Scarlet and Violet books, and more or less just speculation from there, it's, if we're going to get a Legends game, it's going to be a Johto Legends game, because there is hints of a past version of one of the legendary dogs. And if we are getting a remake, it'll be black and white, because of a future version of one of the Three Musketeers. Or Three Musketeer Pokemon, I should say, to specify, because it sounds weird otherwise. That is the speculation in the rumor. Well, I would say speculation because I don't think there's really any rumor to back up any of it. It's just speculation from, oh, these hints are in the book. I guess that's the thing. Outside of, Scarlet and Violet DLC of some kind.
Except for I feel like I kind of disagree. Because the remakes, they're kind of following up through the gens right now.
Right.
I say kind of.
They are. Which would make Black and White the next one. Black and White is Gen 5. You forgot they did a remake of Gen 4 already, didn't you?
No. You've also forgotten that we've kind of skipped 2 gens, too.
Right, but they already did those. A long time ago, mind you, but they already did those.
Not on the Switch.
I know.
Because keep in mind, there's more than one way to have a remake.
Right.
Hence why I said
also,
kind of.
Yeah.
Because they could do a let's go for 2nd gen.
Right. That's also a possibility. As the article also points out, any number of Pokemon games on the GBA and Game Boy emulators on Switch.
But here's the thing. Even if they do that, you can't really count that. Because chances are none of that is going to tie to home.
They did it for when they did it on the eShop for the 3DS.
Because that was its own titles.
Right.
The Virtual Console functions different than the emulator that is on the Switch.
True. That might be a bit more tricky to attempt to pull off.
Because the Virtual Console was all packaged as individual games.
Yeah.
Yes, it functioned as an emulator for said games, but it was packaged that way so the save data was easier to get into and manipulate. Because all Home's really doing, much like Bank before it, is just manipulating save data. So unless the emulator does keep all of those saves separate, you can't really expect that one to have home integration. That might also be why they haven't done any kind of tease to, hey, Pokemon games are coming to those. Because it might be a case of, if they add the Pokemon games, they're going to have to add a way to do trading in said Pokemon. Or that's going to cause more problems.
Well, there are Pokemon games coming to those emulators. Just not the main ones, it's the spin-off ones. Because I believe the Game Boy one's getting the trading card game. And something else. I swear there was another Pokemon game. Besides just the trading card game. There be help. There be help.
Either way, you don't need to have any kind of link system set up for the TCG.
No, because it's standalone. Oh no, it's just the Pokemon trading card game. I must be thinking of something else.
But it's one of those, it's like, I feel like unless the emulator functions different, you really probably wouldn't be able to count on having it for the Switch on.
Yeah.
Could it happen? Yeah. But I don't foresee that being a thing, so ruling that out, I could see probably Let's Go versions for Gen 2
Mhm.
were, in all seriousness, they might decide to go full on remaster.
Yeah.
Because they technically have an engine that could work for it. As far as the Legends games, I'm kind of in the mindset of we've only had one.
Mhm.
So truthfully, anything could happen on that one.
I would like another one, please.
I feel like we'll get another one, but there's no guarantees on what Pokemon it's going to be centered around.
Yeah. I think the assumption with Johto, again, is because of speculation from the Scarlet and Violet games. And I guess also because Celebi is the time traveling one. So, like, if we're gonna get dumped into the past again from the future, well, instead of it being God, it might just be, oh, little time friend told us because something, 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 go catch all the Pokemon.
I could see it. Like, I'm not discounting that, but at the same time, for all we know, they could throw a hard curveball and do like Pokemon Legends Ho or something. I mean, they could throw a real curve in. I don't think there's anything that could define a true pattern. Because, okay, case in point, if we're using Scarlet and Violet as a basis to come up with an idea of what the next one's gonna be, was there any hints in Sword and Shield about Arceus? Or Let's Go?
I honestly don't know offhand. I'm willing to say no.
I mean, that's one of those you gotta kind of wonder, would they really be that bold and try to do that?
Yeah. Also, as a quick note, we have a second direct. Technically, it's not a direct. It's just the debut of the final Mario movie trailer is going to be on the 9th of March. I still find it frightening that they have decided that the blue shell is now technically an actual Koopa Troopa in Bowser's army. There is something absolutely frightening about that idea. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there real quick. So yeah, here's hoping good Pokemon stuff. Sometimes Pokemon Directs aren't the best. So we'll see. Next up, Mortal Kombat 12 was announced during a shareholders meeting. Well, nobody was looking. This is why you pay attention to shareholders meetings, because sometimes they are actually important. So, how do you feel about Mortal Kombat 12 being announced this way and coming out supposedly this year, according to the shareholders meeting?
This will be delayed to next year.
Probably. We'll see. And lastly, so Microsoft has announced that since they are still in the process of acquiring Activision, a reminder, they still have not acquired Activision. They're still in the process, and they're running into legal snafus in Europe over it. They have decided to at least enter a contract for 10 years with Nintendo to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo platforms. Well, actually, specifically, Let me see the wording on this, because this might just be more... Well, that tweet doesn't exist anymore. I guess that was a miswording, because the quote from the non-existent tweet was, bring Xbox games to Nintendo gamers, which is a very different thing than just, hey, here's Call of Duty on the Switch. But I guess it's just Call of Duty on the Switch. Hooray. Are you excited for the COD to be on your Switch?
Okay, the little snippet in the article there reads more like they're signing a contract to bring Activision games.
Right.
They just name drop the fish.
But here's the question. What else would it be that is not currently on the Switch already?
I mean, fair.
Because Overwatch is already on the Switch, so I'm like, what the fuck else would they throw on here? They're gonna throw World of Warcraft on here. That's not happening. Because this technically is Activision Blizzard. So I'm like, I don't know. This is certainly a thing Microsoft has done, even though they still do not own Activision Blizzard. So good for them, I guess. I don't particularly care about the fish. And that's it for the week, folks. As I said, it's a short week.
Also, 10 years bringing fish. I give it a year and Nintendo nips it in the butt because of the community.
I would say Microsoft would nip it in the butt because nobody would buy it on the Switch.
Nah. Nintendo would because of the kind of people that it would bring.
Fair. So, releases for the next couple weeks or so. We're going to kick off on the 28th with Destiny 2 Lightfall expansion for Xbox One Series, PlayStation 4 and 5. Hotly anticipated, supposed to end the saga of Light and Darkness for Destiny 2 so they can move on to other things in Destiny, essentially.
Like
Hooray.
Not making a Destiny 3.
More or less. Sherlock Holmes: The Awakened for Xbox One Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. Splatoon 3 Expansion Pass Wave 1 Inkopolis for Switch. Hooray! The boring part of the Splatoon 3 Expansion Pass.
Oh wait, that was now?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I guess we'll get to see if there's anything else with it.
I can't wait for there not to be anything else, and then it is just the Inkopolis lobby.
Also, we were trying to speculate what Part 2 of the expansion pass was.
Yeah.
So, according to the description that Nintendo has for it, it's actually taking place after Splatoon 2.
Okay.
So apparently it is bad ending for 2. Well,
So
Octo expansion in particular.
Yeah. So the speculation I saw was correct. Bravo to that person I saw on Johnson's
More
card.
than likely, yeah.
Bravo to that person that I don't remember.
Because the description doesn't flat out say that taking place after the bad ending, but in light of how everything is, no pun intended, I would have to go out on a limb and be like, yeah, it's probably because of that. What would really be neat is if the Inkopolis one actually let us do the missions from the first game in 3.
That'd be nice.
Then it would legitimately bring all 3 to the Switch.
If they did
Without
that,
saying that it was a port.
they'll never do that.
Nope. But that would have been the smart thing to have done. Disguise it as a port. Heck, they probably could have bumped up the expansion pass price if they'd done that, even.
Alright, Street Fighter Duel is also coming out on Android and iOS. That's a Street Fighter gacha game. Hooray. Vampire the Masquerade, the New York bundle for PlayStation 4 and Switch. Void Asterix Void Terrarium 2 for PlayStation 4 and Switch. That is how you pronounce the name of the game. Do not correct me. Marchverse, a fox and his robot on Switch. Brock the Investigator for Xbox One, PlayStation 4 or 5 and Switch.
I kind of like the first one that you were going for.
Or Bork.
Yeah.
I'm trying. Is this the? Yes, this is. I saw this on John's stream. This is a beat 'em up. With some adventure game stuff thrown in. It's a mix of the two genres. It looked really good when I saw it on John's stream. It's currently available on Steam, and it's like 25% off. So, Bendy in the Dark Revival with Rexos on Series Next Mission 4 and 5. On the 2nd, Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope Tower of Doom for Switch. I forget if I own the season pass for Mario Plus Rabbids. I think I do. It's also a game I need to finish because I didn't finish that one. Power Wash Simulator Mid.
By the way.
God damn. Power Wash Simulator Midgard Special Pack for Xbox One Series X Vision 4 or 5 and Switch for all you Power Wash Simulator fans. Someone I follow was entirely confused on why people like Power Wash Simulator, and I'm just like, I don't know how to explain it, but like I get it. Because it's a very zen game where you're just power washing stuff and you just are just letting everything else go away. You're just power washing and you're just focused on power wash. It makes no sense to anyone, I feel like, what I'm trying to say.
Nope. Fair
enough. Moving on. On the 3rd, Disaster Detective Saiga, an incredible or an indescribable mystery on Switch. I need to see what this is. Is this one of those anime games that pop up on the Switch every now and again?
It looks like it. Just from the title alone.
Yes it is.
Uh-huh. One of those, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck.
Also, I love how every time I search one of these games and to pull it up and I pull it up on my browser, I just get the eShop theme start playing in my ears. Because of the extension I have. Specifically, it's the Wii eShop channel. Just the do. And what's even better is if I click off the tab, it stops playing until the tab is back active, and then it restarts.
Oh, it restarts and don't just pick up from where it was?
No.
Because it would have been funnier if it just picks up from where it was.
Yeah, I'm on Amazon. It started playing. And it restarts when I click off the tab.
Yeah, it would have been funnier if they could have found a way to then it just pick back up.
Well, what's better, it has different themes as well. So you can do just the Wii Shop. You can just do the menu for the Wii Shop channel. You can do the Me channel. You can do Me Maker for 3DS. You can do the Wii U eShop, the 3DS eShop, the DSi eShop, Coconut Mall from Mario Kart, I think.
Random.
We Shop Wednesday, which is that tweet. The Ocarina of Time shop. Or buy mode from The Sims.
They don't have the Switch eShop? Oh, wait.
You know, I didn't realize that that's what we've been missing from the eShop on the Switch until someone pointed out of just like, oh, right, the Switch eShop doesn't have a fucking theme song. Damn. I need that. I also need it to not run like shit. Because damn, does the eShop run like shit on Switch.
I mean, yeah. But at the same time, I feel like everyone should be used to the eShop running like hot garbage.
Uh-huh.
There has not been one iteration of the eShop that hasn't ran slow for some stupid reason. You're sitting there trying to think of one, you're probably not going to find one.
Yeah.
It's like they build it for hardware that they're fixing to make instead of the hardware that it's actually running on, and it's like, what? How?
Nintendo is dumb. We've established this. Also coming out on March 3rd, Jurassic Pinball vs. 1 and Series X. Rule for Switch. The Rumblefish 2 for PlayStation 4 and 5. Wu Lang Fallen Destiny vs. 1 Series X, PlayStation 4 and 5. That's what Kaiju Karo was streaming last night. A demo of that apparently came out. And it is a Dark Souls style game. Apparently you can wield 3 halberds at the same time in that game. I assume you wield 3 halberds Rorodor Zoro style from One Piece, with 1 in each hand and the 3rd one in your mouth. Because that's the only way it makes sense in my head. I'm incredibly disappointed if it's not that.
Fair.
Also on March 6th, Dead Cells Return to Castlevania DLC for Xbox on PlayStation 4 and Switch. On the 7th, Dead by Daylight Tools of Torment for Xbox One Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. New killer, essentially. It's a fancy science killer. Hooray. Melon Journey Bittersweet Memories versus One Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. It's also coming out on the 7th. Also, Romancevania for Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. Is this a Castlevania-like dating sim?
If it's not, someone really screwed up.
This looks like a Castlevania game. But also, this looks like it might be a porn game.
Okay, that would fit for the title.
I'm looking at a picture of a scarecrow jack-o'-lantern with 2 pumpkins as breasts. As one of the pictures on Steam. So that is an image that I will probably not forget for a while. Moving on. On March 8th, Cartwriter Drift for Xbox on PlayStation 4. On the 9th, Fatal Frame Mask of the Lunar Eclipse for Xbox on Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. Also, by the way, I had to take out 2 games or 2 things because their dates were wrong. And also, they were said to be on Stadia, which doesn't exist anymore, so that can't happen.
I mean, sure it can.
Because it said Destiny 2 Lightfall was going to be on Stadia, and it said Cross and Bones was going to be on, or Skull and Bones was going to be on Stadia, and I'm like, that is factually wrong. Stadia doesn't exist anymore.
Actually,
Nothing
probably
new was...
need to go in there and tell it to filter Stadia too now, just in case there's any other outliers.
Skull and Bones, that the date it said, because I think it said it was the 9th, is wrong outright because they delayed that game. So I think it just didn't update, is what it is. Because sometimes that's happened where it's assuming it goes off a old date for a game, even though a new date has been announced for it.
You do realize that we don't have us writing the backend? And it's
I know.
in real time from the API from them, so that means they failed to update.
Correct. That's what I was meaning. We just get the information. I'm just saying the information we have gotten is wrong because they have decided not to update their information for some stupid reason.
Never once have we claimed to have the release. Exactly.
Yep. We get a list and we're just assuming it's right unless I know it's wrong. Because otherwise it was just on here as is. Because I'm not fact checking every fucking release every 2 weeks. No.
Yeah, we're not gonna fact check. Probably 50 Switch games.
Known by heart, ... Because that's a game on here, and I'm like, I'm not fact checking that. All 2 people who probably even know that this game exists now. Anyway, other releases on the 9th. Monster Energy Supercross, the official game 6 for Xbox One Series X, PlayStation 4, and 5. And on the 10th, DC Justice League Cosmic Chaos for Xbox One Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. Felix the Toy DX for Switch. And that's about it, folks. There are more releases. You can see them in our notes. It is the early time of the year as we await everything to happen in the next month, because like everything comes out next month. Because I think February's been light. March is going to be heavy, I think, towards the end of March. And then April and May are going to be big and heavy. So, yeah. Anywho, anything else?
No.
Alright, then. Tomorrow, it's more Armada. I still have to watch one more episode.
I have to watch 4 more episodes.
How do you feel about murder? And betrayal? In progression?
So the show's getting good?
That depends on your definition of good. Has stuff happened in the 3 episodes I have watched? Yes. Does it feel like it's really earned in any way? Does it look good at all in terms of animation? Have you not been watching Armada with us? Because that answers itself. This show does not look good.
You're...
Hopefully. The last episode of the batch that I have not watched is the episode I think it is. Therefore, we get to end on a cliffhanger. I think. I think we end on a cliffhanger if it's that episode. One second, I need to check and see if it actually is. No, I don't need the Tubi page. I need the wiki. Wiki, please. Wiki, help. Is no? No, is that later? Damn, that's next week. Never mind. Also, that's not the last episode of the batch. Damn. Oh well. Never mind. We don't get to end on that. No. But yeah, that's tomorrow. Next Thursday, I'm gonna do some Memory of Heroes survival mode runs because I'm in the mood for it and I don't want to play Messenger anymore. Because it makes very terrible deaths and I don't feel like playing the game for the moment. Because also, I don't think I'm even halfway through the game. Next Friday... Have you decided what we're doing next Friday?
Nope.
Then it will be a thing of some variety that is not Splatoon. Because next Saturday is the Splatoon relay race. That may or may not see you going forward through the games and me going backwards through the games.
Oh, you thinking about starting Switch?
Maybe?
Well, that'll be interesting.
Because I have to physically swap from 3 to 2 anyway. So, like, me starting at 1 changes nothing. Because I just changed the order of the games I physically swap on the Switch.
Fair.
And even then, I'm stuck on 2 for 2 games in the middle because it's 2 and Octo expansion. It just depends on which 2 I want to do. And honestly, I wouldn't mind having the smaller run be the second one for me rather than the third one for me.
I mean, truthfully, we don't even have to do it in that kind of an order either.
Right.
You could do 3, 2, Octo Expansion 1. If you really wanted to be stupid, you could do 3, 1, Octo Expansion 2. I only say that because that would involve switching the capture card and switching the game card.
Yeah. Thankfully, for how I have my setup, it will just swap over automatically as soon as I turn off the Switch and power on the Wii U. Not really. I have a cheapo like HDMI switcher, I believe, that I found on Amazon. Let me see if I can find it. Or not. Did I not
Of course,
get
I
it?
haven't tried it with capture card I got now, but I might be able to do the same. I'll have to look.
I know the name's on it. It's essentially a small box that has 4 HDMI ins and then 1 HDMI out. So all of my consoles that have HDMI go into this, and then the out of it goes out to my capture device. Unfortunately, the switcher does not bypass HDCP. So I still have to manually swap off HDCP for the PlayStation 4. Which, as I found out, that apparently you can't play Blu-rays on a PlayStation 4 unless you turn the HDCP back on.
Sounds right.
Incredibly
You can't play
stupid.
YouTube videos if the Switch notices that you've got a capture card hooked.
Really?
Yep. My Elgato, as long as I had it hooked up, I couldn't do YouTube or Twitch, I think. Both did it. Where it wouldn't
That's
let me
weird.
play through it.
That's weird.
I know YouTube did. I think Twitch might have too.
But yeah, I don't have to mess with anything there, so I can just automatically go directly to the Wii U without any issue. It's just the physically swapping the carts for 3 to 2 is the problem, since I'm an old fart who likes his games physical. Which puts me in the 1% of people who bought games physically last year, apparently. It was a stat I heard from Carl on one of his streams of, was it 99? I think it was 98 to 99% of game sales last year were digital.
Sounds right.
I was talking to my mom about this. I'm curious how that breaks down per platform. Because if you include PC numbers, that would skew them greatly. Because all PC game sales are digital. So, yeah, that...
Nope. Nope. Because my copy of Doom that I have on Steam actually is a physical.
Okay. Well,
however, once you install it, it then is part of the computer.
Right.
So technically, no, that's a physical.
Right, but I feel like that 98 to 99%, that is definitely a PC number. But I'm curious how, again, that breaks down per platform. Like, how many physical sales does Steam actually have versus digital sales, which... how does Steam even differentiate that in their database?
My honest opinion, I think Switch would probably be the more evenly split, just because of the fact of the game card. I could see Xbox and PlayStation numbers probably leaning more towards digital, because from a personal standpoint, Switch, I don't mind. I'll buy it digital or cartridge, whichever I can get it cheaper.
Yeah.
Xbox and PlayStation, I would rather buy it digital, just because I don't want to have to pay for the game twice. If the disc gets screwed up, then I'm just out the game.
Yeah.
So it's one of those, I could see Xbox and PS being probably more skewed digital because of people having that same mindset. But Switch numbers would be the one that I'd be really interested in. Them and PC.
Yeah, I want to see the breakdowns. Like, I don't think that number is wrong, but I want more information on that number. I want to see how it breaks down per platform.
I mean, if someone told me for Xbox and PlayStation that it was a 75-25 split, with 25 being the physical, I'd be like, yeah, I full on believe that. If someone told me that for PC, I'd be like, show me the numbers. Because I'm with you. I feel like a lot of that is skewed. Because out of all the PC games that I've had, I think I've only had 3 physical. The rest all have been digital. And the only reason that I know it's 3 is because it is Halo 1 and 2 and Doom. And that is literally the only ones that I've physically bought. And the only reason that I got Doom as a physical is because it was cheaper. Because I caught it on sale.
Well, I actually see where this number is being taken from. This is also including mobile games. Which, mobile games are 100% that are all digital sales. So that you have to like take that out of the equation, kind of. Which makes it like approximately 70% actually.
See, I could buy that actually.
Hmm.
Does it have a breakdown for each console?
No, it has a breakdown per part, essentially. It says it's like 50% mobile games that accounts for like 9.92.2 billion. Download boxed PC games are 38.2 billion, which is 21%. 1% are browser PC games, which is 2.3 billion. I assume that's like itch.io and stuff like that. Is assume what that's accounting for?
Maybe.
What? Oh. And then console games are 28%, which is 51.8 billion.
You got that link? Because I'm curious now.
It is a Destructoid article. It is the first result I've got. There is another one that is referencing a BBC report. Yeah, it's a BBC report. That says the Entertainment Retail Association claims that 89.5% of video game purchases were digital downloads, with the remainder 10.5% were physical. Let's see. The BBC report stated that 30% of that 90% of digital sales were mobile games. So you take that 30% out, that leaves about 60% was digital across PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch, essentially. I wish I could see this BBC report. Where is the BBC report? Also, these numbers are strictly for UK, so that's not that much. Because I found the original BBC report and it is specifically talking about in the UK, not overall. So that helps none. Fantastic. Phone game involved in the equation.
Also, that chart that you've got is literally just the revenue for all games.
Yeah.
That's not a breakdown.
Not the breakdown.
Physical.
Yeah, I don't know why that came up first. Yeah, apparently this 90% number is just for the UK. It does not account for the US at all. So thanks everyone quoting this article for dropping the UK part of the title of the fucking article. Thanks. God damn it.
Okay. I found something that broke down the PC front of it at the very least. And
Hooray.
98% digital for PC.
That sounds about right. I would expect it to be like stupid high up there for Steam.
So it looks like the 72% is just console games.
Mm-hmm.
Because putting everything together comes up to a 94.2% digital. It'd still be nice if you could see the breakdown of each of them, but I guess if you knew the console game revenue breakdown, you probably could get a rough idea.
Yeah. Topic for another day, I guess. I guess anything else?
No.
Alright, then that'll do it for us. If you like what you're seeing, drop a follow. I really appreciate chipping away that filler go at Jesus on Twitter, gets the updates go live. Next point, Discord chat is drop by, say hi. See you tomorrow, folks.